dressed up for you guys today. Meaning I threw a scarf on over my old ratty shirt. What do you think? Is that okay? Am I dressed up enough for the Monday Flosstube occasion? Enough? Hope so. I even washed my hair this morning, so it's a double banner day. Anyway, you guys, I am not even supposed to be, I am really supposed to be doing some paperwork right now at the moment, and if my husband knew that I was sitting down and recording this video instead of doing that paperwork, I would be in trouble. You know, as much trouble as he knows I'm gonna get it done. But I should be doing that now instead of this. But Flosstube, paperwork, which would you rather do? Flosstube 1. So I have a few things to share with you today. I don't have any show and tell because the piece that I was hoping to finish, I just couldn't. I didn't have enough minutes in my day to put in enough stitches to finish up the Blackbird design part 2 that I was really hoping to have finished for today. I made some really good progress on it, and again, it's almost done. So I'll share that first because it's so close to being a show and tell. Once again, this is the Blackbird Designs Loose Feathers, the Autumn. This is part 2 of 3. I worked on this on Friday for Friday Off the Grid Stitch With Me video. And as you can see, I'm almost done. So my initials, it is CTH. The H is not quite finished because I ran out of floss and then ran out of time. So I didn't have enough time to finish the H, but I'm so close. And all I have to finish, let's see, I'm not sure how I can show this. I'm gonna roll this up and then I can point. That will work. Okay, so I finished all my diamonds up to the top. You saw that on Friday Off the Grid. Then after I finished recording, I finished this flower motif that's up here and this tiny little diamond that's next to the bird's neck. I have to do one more or two more right in here to finish those up. I need to add the leaves or flower leaves onto the stems here, onto the bit of branch here. And then all I need to do after that, other than finish the H, is to finish the perch with a little bit, I think 2 other colors. There are 2 other colors that need to be added into that perch, and then it's done. So I realized that I have gone against what I said I was going to do, and I took it off my floor frame to show you, but you can, I promise you, and I promise myself that as soon as I'm done recording this, I am going to hot tail it right back to my frame and stick it right back on there, because I am determined that this is not getting put away again until this is done. So finished, finished, finished. And if it's not finished, then this will be my next Friday Off the Grid piece until it's done. But I am almost positive that I will have a different piece for Friday Off the Grid this week, because this one needs to get done. Even if I have to stay up super late tonight, I'm tempted to do that. I have to, it's Monday, and I have a bunch of students that are coming tonight instead of Wednesday night because, as you know, I'm hoping to take some time off with my kids for their March break. So I did a little rearrangement so that I could start my own little personal holiday a little bit sooner. So all of my Wednesday kids are coming tonight, which means tonight is going to be a very long night. So not only do I have to finish my paperwork, I also have to teach until about 9 o'clock tonight. The other thing is, well, you know what, I'll talk about that later. It has to do with Evertote, so I'm going to leave that for the end when I do this little shop update. So I'm going to continue and finish with whips. As you can see, I am ready to take a little bit of time off. I can't wait to spend some one-on-one time with my kids. I really miss them, and I know they miss me, so it's I'm really looking forward to it. And I think that that excitement and that, you know, I can't wait to get there is making it very hard for me to focus and concentrate on getting done what I need to get done. So let me finish my whips. The other project that I worked on this week that I put a few lengths of thread in is the Modern Folk Embroideries 4 Seasons, the Winter Quaker, Primitive Quaker Year, A Primitive Quaker Year, Part 1, January. And I'm still working in the upper border here. You may remember from last week that I mentioned that Jakob, the man who is the designer, who is Modern Folk Embroidery, we were discussing this piece and he suggested that I wouldn't have enough thread, and he's right. So I mentioned last week I was going to combine another silk that I had that was a lighter blue. And because this community is so amazing, I had first of all, a lady reached out to me on Facebook privately and she said, you know, I've actually got some of that. And she has a gigantic spool. And so we're gonna do a little trade for some Zafra Cobalt, and I am going to be the proud owner of enough Zafra Cobalt to do my entire design in one color. And the lady who is sending me some to trade was not the only one who offered. Actually, almost the next day after I spoke to this lady on Facebook, someone else left me a comment on YouTube, and I have yet to respond because it happened. I believe it happened. She left me a comment over the weekend. I had less than 0 minutes on the weekend to do anything other than work on Evertote business, so I have not replied yet. But in case you're watching this, before I get to respond to your comment, to the other person who offered Zafra Cobalt from Vicki Clayton Hand-Dyed Silk, thank you, because just reading your words, even though I didn't have time to go to my laptop and hit the heart button on it, it made me feel pretty great that you were willing to offer that, because this stuff is like gold. It is precious. It's a precious commodity. And to offer up Vicki Clayton Silk to a fellow stitcher, that's an offer of friendship indeed. So thank you very, very much. So I have some more coming, which means that I have decided to do my design all in the one color, which pleases me because that is how I originally wanted to do it. Now I know my linen is very wrinkly, and that's okay. So as you can see, I made a little bit more progress. I worked on this in the morning when I wait for Nicholas to get out of bed so we can start our day. That's sort of that's my quiet time in the morning. That really is wrinkled, isn't it? Anyways, I know it bothers Gerald that I don't really keep my fabric very taut, but that's how I prefer to stitch. I prefer to have a little bit of looseness in my fabric. I'm not sure why. I have stitched it with a tighter, like a drum, but it doesn't bother me when it's a little bit loose. So I don't tend to over crank my bars. I just leave them until you know, I stitch two-handed. It doesn't bother me that it's a little bit loose. Anyways, that's my progress on Modern Folk Embroideries Mystery Sal, and I am loving it. I love the silk, I love the fabric, I love the teeny tiny stitches, I love the design. So if you are at all in any way on the fence about joining in on this Mystery Sal, don't hesitate, because it's really, really fun and it's a beautiful design. So enjoy. And that's it for whips. That's all I worked on. I meant to start my March a year in chalk design, and it didn't happen. So that's okay. I am going to make sure that I take some time with my kids, and I'm going to do a lot of crafting over the next few, I guess it's about, how long is it? A week and a half, really, that I've decided to take off. I'm closing the shop down. And so I've made sure that I am going to put in lots of time there for myself to stitch and knit and sort of, you know, push the reset button a little bit, because things have been really busy lately, really crazy and wonderful, but it has meant that I haven't had a lot of time to put a lot of progress into my own works in progress, and I'm feeling a little bit like I need to have some serious hermit time and make some progress. Use up some of my beautiful stash. So that's the plan. Something really exciting. I had a wonderful weekend. My parents came up on Saturday and I took my mom to the yarn shop. If you watched Friday's episode, you may remember that I had a plan. I was going to take my mom to the yarn shop and I was going to hopefully get her some new yarn and start her on a new project. And that way we could have a knit night or a crafting night together. And my plan worked beautifully. My mom picked out the most gorgeous, it's a yarn by a yarn dyer, Madeline Tosh, very popular, well-known yarn company. Madeline Tosh, it was this sort of one of my favorite rich maroon colors with some variegated purples and dark pinks and just beautiful. And she has started a new shawl pattern. And I'll talk more about the particular shawl pattern that she's working on my Friday video, because I thought that I would talk a little bit more about the knitting aspect of things. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit on Friday. I know this is not a knitting podcast. I know it's a cross-stitch podcast. However, because we now have a lot of cross-stitchers who are now new knitters, it will be a little bit. I'll add in a little bit, but most of it I keep to discuss over on the Fiber Friends podcast. So while my mom was starting her new shawl, my son had said, he has been saying for a while that he would like to learn how to cross stitch. He would like to learn how to knit. He would like to learn how to sew. And he's probably been saying this since he was 7. And I have had the supplies tucked away in my closet, plastic canvas, and I purchased, so 2 years ago, I purchased some DMC wool enough for him to make it was a Stormtrooper pattern that was a freebie, and I can't even remember where it was because that was 2 years ago. I can't even find the pattern anymore. So I had bought enough material, wool, for him to stitch a Stormtrooper, but then he never really, I offered a couple of times, and the times that I offered, he was more interested in doing something else. And so yesterday, when my mom started her shawl and Nicholas said, I really want you to teach me how to cross stitch, I said, okay, today's the day. I am going to go and find that stuff, and I am going to get him set up, and let's just, you know, put it in his hands and see what he thinks. Well, he was hooked, totally and completely hooked. So it's a plastic canvas. I gave him a great big, I think it's a size 20 or a 22 needle. But I'm threading it for him now anyways because it's wool. It's tricky to thread. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And he's making plastic canvas bookmarks, and they're all in one color, and he's totally thrilled. He has been cross-stitching with this DMC wool every spare minute that he's had since Saturday. So he's already finished one complete yellow bookmark, and he's halfway through a black bookmark, and he's already got plans. He wants me to teach him how to chart words so that he can do bookmarks that have words in a different color with a different colored background. And it warmed my heart because he was so thrilled to be sitting beside me and feeling like we were sharing something really special together. So I can tell you there's going to be a lot more plastic canvas and DMC wool in our March break time together, because that's all he wants to do. And he's getting fast at it. So every 10-15 minutes he's coming to me with the needle dangling and saying, "Mommy, I need some more wool." He knows how to sew it in. He knows how to sew in his end, but I have to help him start it. So he's learning the Bargello tuck at a very young age. So he says that he wants to only stitch on plastic canvas. He has no interest in working on linen or anything like that, but let's give him time. We'll see how he does. We'll see what we do. But that's been really, really fun. And so it was a wonderful weekend. It was a great weekend. So as well as my family time, the shop has been absolutely crazy. So I'm going to go into just a little bit of a quick shop update here before I leave you today. I know it's a short episode today, but remember, I am actually supposed to be doing paperwork right now, so I better get to it. Very quick shop update. First of all, I wanted to say an enormous thank you to everyone who went on and purchased a bag over the last week, because I have never been so busy. The shop has never been so busy. And pretty much all of the bags that Kathy and I put up last week, almost, I'm going to say we probably have about 15% left of the amount of bags that I put up. They pretty much all sold. It was the busiest I'd ever been with the shop all week. And so, you know, it was a little bit hard for me to get them out as quickly as I was used to doing them. So I hope that the speed with which they were dispatched was still acceptable to those people who bought a bag. There are still a couple who, if you have not received a dispatch notice from Evertote yet, your bag is still on its way being processed by me and packaged to be shipped out to you. So I am closing the shop down Wednesday morning. That is, what's today? Today the 6th? Is that the 8th? The 7th or the 8th? I'm not sure. And my calendar is on my phone, and that's what's recording this right now, so I can't check it right now. Whatever Wednesday morning is of this week, I'm going to set the notice on the shop that it is closed until Sunday, the 20, I'm not sure. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm sure none of you are like desperately desperate for a bag, though they are pretty nice. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank you. It was a really wonderful, wonderful week, and your support of the shop and Kathy and I is very, very much appreciated. So, because I'm still going to keep the shop up until Wednesday, and my mom brought up a few bags that Kathy had made. It's one type of bag, but my mom brought up 3 sets that Kathy had made when she went home last week. So I thought I would share it with you today. So this is a medium cross stitch set. It's a medium flat, so it fits an 8x8 square or an 8x11. And it comes with a matching notions. There, that's a bit better. And a matching needle minder. So we have 3 of these sets. And the lining fabric is beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's this blue with a little gold square just popped in there. It's so pretty. With coral twill, it makes a lovely bag. So I'm not sure you can actually see. I don't know if the camera is picking up. Maybe it will on the Notions tote a little bit easier. But the gold in the spirograph is a little, there it is. Can you see there's a little bit of a sparkle there? The gold is a little bit shiny. Now I've called these the spirographic set because they remind me of the toy that I used to play with as a kid. That spirograph, when you would draw with your pen and you would make all the different shapes. And I love it. Really love it. So anyways, there are 3 of those up in the shop, and I am taking orders for the next couple of days. Everything will be in the mail and shipped out by Wednesday morning. And that's it. Then I'm closed down, where Kathy and I are taking a little bit of time off to reconnect with our families who have been missing us lately. So that's it. That's my shop update, and I hope you guys have a great week ahead. Oh, I forgot. I did want to talk about the knitting today. I know that I had talked about starting the hat tutorials because I know that so many of you have now become completely proficient with the dishcloths, and you've been looking forward to doing the hat. I'm going to hold off just a little bit on the hat tutorials until after my kids go back to school, because I've really decided that it's really important for me to show them that I mean it, that I'm taking the time off to spend with them, and I can't I can't then turn around and say, oh, but just wait, I have to go and film this little hat tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually work on knitting my hat from Louise's pattern so that I can work out any kinks beforehand, and then as soon as my kids are back in school, it'll be full steam ahead for knitting a hat. After we knit the hat, I don't want to jump right into socks. I think that's a bit of a jump to jump right into learning how to knit socks. So we may go to mittens, maybe a pair of mitts after we do the hat. I know for a fact that Louise has worked on a very simple mitten pattern, and then you'll have a pair of mitts to go with your hat. So for those who are on warm climates, you can knit fingerless mitts for those chilly mornings when you just need a little bit of comfort on your hands. So that's the update with the knitting tutorials, and I hope that's okay. The one video that I am going to continue putting out is the Friday off the grid video. I am going to pre-record this Friday's episode. I will probably record it on Wednesday morning, but it will be up on Friday night. And then next Friday's video, I will record at some point next week, maybe after the kids have gone to bed. I'll record it then. So that's it. That's it for me. I better get to my paperwork or else, you know, trouble. Happy stitching, you guys, and I'll see you on Friday for Friday Off the Grid. Have a great week. Take care.